Hi, I'm Dawson. I'd like to welcome you to my first movie review on this channel. I created this channel so I could start sharing my opinion on the internet, because no one does it. At all. Even a little bit. Not even in the slightest. So, this past week, I went and saw Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, and I thought I'd hop on here and give you my thoughts on the movie. This movie is a sequel to 2021's reboot of the Ghostbusters franchise, Ghostbusters Afterlife. Now, I personally really enjoyed Ghostbusters Afterlife, and I thought it had a little bit of a darker tone to it compared to the other Ghostbusters movies. This movie, however, brought it back to the original Ghostbusters feeling of that nostalgic goofiness that we saw in the first two that also took place in New York City. This movie does take place in New York as well, and it's at the original Ghostbusters firehouse. One thing I will say about this movie is it is definitely funnier than Afterlife. And because of the inclusion of Paul Rudd's character, Mr. Gooberson, from the past movie, and Kumail Nanjiani's new character, the Firemaster, there were a lot of really well-crafted one-liners. And I would say all the cast members here had really good comedic timing. There were definitely several moments in the screening that I went to where laughter throughout the theater was audible. Speaking of audible, today's video is sponsored by... No, what do you mean? Oh. We're not? What? Okay. That's my bad. I'm not sponsored. Back to the video, I guess. Aside from the humor, this movie unfortunately falls into the trap of the legacy sequels. This issue is apparent in movies like Scream from 2021 and Jurassic World Dominion. This is a popular trend where classic movie series or franchises are brought back with new characters to carry on stories for the new generation, but also the original characters so the old fans are satisfied and have a little bit of nostalgia when they go and watch the new movies. I think this movie handles this type of format pretty well. I think movies like Scream from 2021, for example, did handle it better, but I would say it definitely handles it better than movies like Jurassic World Dominion, where the whole story just felt jumbled up because those extra characters were added in. As opposed to Jurassic World Dominion, this movie does a great job of mixing in the characters and getting a good pool. It wasn't just the legacy characters by themselves and then our new generation. The legacy characters mixed with the new generation and created our storyline groups for the movie. But when it boils down to the actual plot of the movie, none of these old characters seem to really do much to further the storyline. The best inclusion out of these old characters was Dan Aykroyd as Ray Stantz. He seemed to have the best chemistry on screen with the characters, and his storyline mixed in with McKenna Grace as Phoebe was pretty well handled. However, both Peter Venkman and Winston Zeddemore felt sidelined throughout the movie. I wouldn't be surprised if these characters were just added as nostalgia bait to get the original viewers into the theaters to see the new movie. Altogether, I'm torn on the plot of this movie overall. It feels like a classic Ghostbusters movie, and it leaves me wondering how many times we can have this ancient evil who is looking to raise an army of the dead that nobody really knew about until now. We can only do this so many times before it gets old, and if they do another one of these, I want to see something kind of like the Ghostbusters from 2016, where the villain is actually a human who is looking to release ghosts. That kind of takes it a little bit out of the supernatural demon god thing that they can just beat with proton packs. I think that would be a little bit more of an interesting story. The story didn't really come together for me until the second act because most of the first act was setting up where the characters were, which is normal for a movie, but there were so many characters in this movie that they had to set up all of them over a pretty long period of time. One thing I did like about this movie is McKenna Grace as Phoebe remained the main character, and I think that she is definitely the best part of this franchise. She's my favorite character in the Ghostbusters franchise overall, including the original movies. This movie is a coming-of-age story for her. They put her through the stages of teenage years where you think everybody is against you and everything you're doing is wrong. This is something I personally can relate to and a lot of other people can relate to. McKenna Grace does a really good job of showing Phoebe's struggles, how she wants to be a Ghostbuster, how she wants to do all this right, but she feels like she can't or she's not allowed to, and how it affects her. There's a lot of moments in this movie where you see just how much being a Ghostbuster means to her, and she feels a lot more confident in this movie as opposed to her character in the previous movie. That's what I want to see from these movies more, though, is more character growth. They did a great job with Phoebe in this movie, but I'm hoping if we get a third one, they do more character growth on people like Podcast or Finn Wolfhard as Trevor or the mom. Just give us some more character growth. I did really like the bond that her and Mr. Gooberson, Paul Rudd, shared in this movie. They did a great job of him kind of stepping into the role of her father figure. It was really sweet, and their chemistry on screen together was great. There is a new character added for Phoebe's storyline, and that is Melody, who is a ghost. Without spoiling too much, Melody is a ghost who cannot move on and is stuck on Earth because she has unfinished business. Her and Phoebe form a friendship over the course of this movie as Phoebe feels ostracized from her family and starts to seek a connection in somebody else who might understand her more. However, because there's so many characters and so many storylines going on in this movie, we didn't get enough time to establish their friendship. There are only a few little scenes that show them together before they are just established as friends. And I feel like we could have benefited from longer scenes of this or just more of them in general. And you know the worst thing about having a ghost friend is they don't respond to you. Cause you're like ghosting, like you got ghosted. Oh, hi. How are you doing? Oh, they didn't respond. They must have ghosted me. Ghosting because she's a ghost. All in all, this movie was fun. I had a lot of fun watching it. It had some cool action, some cool effects. I laughed quite a bit. And in a world where not many great family movies are made every year that you can take everybody to go see, I'm really glad that movies like this exist. It was a great family movie about a family, and that's what makes it so heartfelt. Even though there isn't a lot of time to get into that, there are some really great heartfelt scenes in this movie. I would say it's my third favorite Ghostbusters movie, below Afterlife and the original Ghostbusters. Is it a cinematic masterpiece that shakes the industry? No. But it's a movie with really cool effects and a passable storyline. It's a solid 7 out of 10 that will leave you with the answer to the question, who are you gonna call? Me. Yeah. Ladies, I'm available. No, the answer is Ghostbusters. Call Ghostbusters. Anyways, thank you all for watching. Let me know if there's any books, movies, or TV shows you want me to review or be broken down and analyzed like the Dark Knight video. That's all for today. Until next time, I will see you guys later.